Somewhere in America, right now, a couple is signing a contract for one single night. The average American wedding costs over $30,000. Some venues alone charge $15,000, $20,000, even $50,000 for 6 hours. 6 hours. One room, a few hundred chairs. So here's the question nobody asks at the reception, between the champagne toasts and the first dance. How is this room, this one room, more profitable per square foot than almost any restaurant, hotel, or retail store in America? The wedding industry in the United States moves over $70 billion a year, and venues sit at the center of it, quietly running one of the most misunderstood businesses in the country. This is the real story of what it takes to own one. Not the fairy tale, the business. Here's what people think this business looks like. You buy a building, maybe an old barn, a ballroom, a garden. You put up some string lights, hire a few servers, and couples show up every Saturday with checks in hand. Rent the space, collect the money, repeat. It looks simple because the industry has spent decades making it look simple. Every bridal magazine, every wedding show on television sells you the same fantasy. Florals, candlelight, a couple twirling under a chandelier. Nobody shows you the walk-in freezer that broke down 48 hours before a 200-guest event. Nobody shows you the 7-figure loan behind that chandelier. The wedding industry sells emotion, but underneath the emotion is one of the most brutal margin businesses in hospitality. High fixed costs, seasonal cash flow, and customers who will only ever buy from you once. Once. That single fact changes everything about how this business actually has to be run, and that's exactly where most new owners get it wrong. Let's talk about what it actually takes to open the doors. Land and construction, or buying an existing property, can run anywhere from $500,000 for a modest venue to $5 million or more for a large capacity ballroom in a major metro area. Then come the permits, zoning approval, fire code compliance, liquor licensing, which in some states alone can cost tens of thousands of dollars and take over a year to clear. Then infrastructure, commercial kitchens, HVAC systems built to cool a room packed with 300 bodies in July. Backup generators, because a power outage during a wedding isn't an inconvenience, it's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Parking, insurance, general liability, liquor liability, property coverage. Staffing, coordinators, kitchen staff, bartenders, security, cleanup crews, most of whom you need on payroll before you've booked a single event. By the time the doors open, a new venue owner has often spent $1 to $3 million before hosting a single wedding. And here's the number that should scare you. Industry data suggests roughly half of new event venues don't survive past their third year. Not because demand isn't there, because the owners built the room and forgot to build the business behind it. So if the money isn't in the rental fee alone, where is it? This is where the real business begins. Because smart venue owners don't make their money renting a room. They make their money controlling everything that happens inside it. Did you know many venues mark up in-house catering by 2 to 3 times the actual food cost, and because outside caterers are banned or heavily restricted, couples have no choice but to pay it. That's revenue stream number 1, food and beverage. Number 2, preferred vendor lists, florists, photographers, DJs, decorators. Venues often take a referral commission of 10 to 20% from every vendor on that approved list. The couple thinks they're getting expert recommendations. They're getting a kickback structure. Number 3, the deposit. Weddings are booked 6, 12, sometimes 18 months in advance. That means venues are sitting on non-refundable deposits and partial payments long before the event happens. essentially interest-free financing collected from every single client, months ahead of delivering anything. Number 4, the calendar itself. A Saturday in peak wedding season, say June or October, can be priced 2 to 3 times higher than a Tuesday in February. Same room, same tables, same chairs. Different math entirely. Did you know the difference between an off-season weekday booking and a peak Saturday can be over $10,000 for literally the same square footage? And then, the extras. Extra hour charges, overtime staffing fees, corkage fees if you dare bring your own wine, cake cutting fees, ceremony versus reception setup fees, each one small, each one adding up. Alcohol is its own empire. With the right liquor license, bar packages alone can generate profit margins north of 70%, because nobody negotiates the price of an open bar at their own wedding. Every one of these streams, on its own, looks small on a spreadsheet. Together, they are the entire business. But none of it works. None of it without one thing. The customer has to say yes to almost anything. And that's not an accident. That's psychology. Here's the uncomfortable truth about why this business works so well. You are not selling a room. You are selling a memory that can never be redone. There's no next time, no refund on regret. That single fact is the most powerful pricing lever in the entire industry. Add social pressure, family expectations, Instagram comparisons. The subtle, constant message that a smaller wedding means a smaller love. Studies on consumer behavior around weddings consistently find the same pattern. Couples who set a firm budget going in still end up going over it, often by 20 to 40% once emotion enters the room. Venues know this. It's why the tour always ends in the ballroom with the chandeliers, not the loading dock. It's why the tasting menu is decadent and the upsell happens right after you've said yes to the date. They are not selling you convenience. They're selling you the fear of looking back one day and thinking, we should have done more. That fear is worth thousands of dollars every single weekend. Which brings us to the number everyone actually wants to know. Let's do the math. Real numbers, no fantasy. A mid-sized venue in a smaller American city, hosting roughly 60 weddings a year, averaging $12,000 in total revenue per event once catering, bar, and add-ons are included. That's over $700,000 in annual revenue. After operating costs, staff, utilities, maintenance, insurance, loan payments, a well-run venue can net anywhere from 15 to 25% profit margins. Call it roughly $150,000 a year in a smaller market. Now scale that up. A premium venue in a major metro area, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, hosting 80 to 100 events a year at $25,000 to $50,000 per event, can pull in $3 to $5 million in annual revenue. At similar margins, that's 6 figures turning into 7. Profits north of $500,000 to over $1 million a year from one property. Did you know? Some of the most profitable event venues in major cities generate more annual profit per square foot than luxury retail stores on the same street. One room, 60 Saturdays a year. That's not a party business. That's a real estate and psychology machine dressed up in candlelight. But before you start drafting a business plan, there's a twist. Here's what almost nobody tells you before they get in. This business isn't really about weddings. It's about emotion, scarcity, and timing. And weddings just happen to be the most emotionally loaded transaction most people will ever make. which means the risk cuts both ways. The same psychology that lets you charge premium prices can turn on you in a single bad review, one wedding gone wrong, one viral complaint about a broken air conditioner in August. There is no repeat customer to win back. There's only reputation. And reputation, in this industry, is the entire business. So if you're still watching this thinking about buying that old barn or that ballroom downtown, ask yourself the real question. Are you building a venue, or are you building the machine behind it? The vendors, the margins, the calendar, the story you sell every single weekend. Because the couples walking through your doors aren't just buying a room. They're buying a promise that this night will matter forever. And in this business, that promise is the most valuable product there is. If you want to see what happens when that promise breaks, the lawsuits, the scandals, the venues that collapsed under their own hype, that's a story for another video. Subscribe, because the real business is always the one they don't show you on the tour.